We disagree strongly with the Secretary's proposal to close Joint Forces Command on the grounds of the fact that the proposal was made without any analysis attached. We disagree on the proposal on substantive grounds, but also without any analysis attached, the proposal is already pretty weak. We're going to be holding hearings in Congress in September to ask officials to comment on the details, and we want to make public the fact that there's been no plan that's been even proposed for how the important functions of Joint Forces Command would continue to be carried out. No plan for how they would approach the personnel issues, so we're going to ask a lot of good questions.
Is there a way, do you think, to undo this thing, to stuff this genie back in the bottle, or is this just a done deal on its own?
Well, so far this is just a proposal announced by one person, and we want to make sure that Congress is involved in the process, and Congress has a role to play in the process. I think it's important that we pull together as a region with a bipartisan team, working together with congressmen on both sides of the aisle and with the governor to make sure that we make the case that that the proposal made by the Secretary of Defense doesn't really have any legs, and we're going to show that during the hearings coming up.
And you mentioned in the hearing today, I hadn't heard this before, that the Secretary of Defense has said to someone, some person somewhere, that he's going to retire.
We understand the Secretary plans to retire by next year from the position. So well, there's only one person that's made this proposal so far, and that's the Secretary of Defense, who won't be in the equation anymore as of next year. So we're going to continue to push the case for Hampton Roads. We're going to continue to push back against the proposal that the Secretary has made, and we're going to show, I think very clearly in these hearings, that there's been no analysis done that would support that kind of proposal.
Summit on Thursday was that, or Wednesday? Which day you guys have the summit?
On Wednesday.
Wednesday, like I said. Summit on Wednesday. Tell me why, what you hope to achieve.
Sure. We're going to be meeting together with Congressman Forbes and all the other political stakeholders from the federal level and the state and local level to make sure that we're all moving in exactly the same direction. I think it's important to note we've got a great bipartisan team in Hampton Roads. We pulled together on the first day this announcement came out, and we're going to be fighting this together. Thanks. Okay.
Thank you.
Amen.
Good. What's your source on Gates retiring?
It is public now. It's on.
Oh, is it? Okay. Today?
It's on CNN. Yep.
Oh, okay. See, I should watch the thing on TV. Does that color this whole issue at all? The fact that he's leaving?
We don't know exactly what the outcome will be, but I think it's important to note.
To be fair, he's been there for a while.
Sure, and it's important to note that the proposal to close Joint Forces Command was a one-person proposal, and that was the Secretary who made the proposal. He won't be there as of next year.
The GAO studies your request to on the report. We'll go over those here.
We're going to have a study on the nuclear workforce and what all it takes, the expense and the hardship to the families to move those workers around to do work in Mayport, which could very easily be done in Norfolk as it's done right now. We've asked for a review of the other options that were in the EIS report, the other alternatives, to see if maybe there's a better military option available there. And then we've asked for a study of the economics of the local ship repair facilities, whether or not they even be in place by the time the Navy would want to bring a carrier there, and whether or not there might be another ship configuration that would even be more beneficial for that area.
Right. How do GAO studies work? Are they automatically approved if you request them, or does GAO get back to you and say?
They are approved once we put them in the language, and they're in the language.
They are. Okay, yes. So these studies are done.
They will be done.
All right. Timetable?
Before the NDAA process, which would be next spring.
Okay. What did you hear today that really, what's your main takeaways from this meeting today? Get to talk with these guys.
Well, I think it's important to note that members of elected officials, members of the military community here, and members of the business community are all pulling in the same direction on this. We understand the economic impact of the proposed closure, but we also understand that there has been no real military rationale presented by the Secretary of Defense that would justify such a big move. And we're pulling together as a team to fight it.
Did you believe that the military strategy is really the one you need to push with the Navy? I mean, obviously you're going to be hearing a lot about jobs from your constituents and things like that. But
the first step is to push the fact that without any analysis attached, this proposal doesn't have any legs at all. That's what we're going to do in the hearings coming up in September, is make the case that we want to be involved in the process. As members of Congress, we expect to be involved in military decisions of this magnitude, and we're going to be.
Are you in sort of like a chicken and an egg thing? You want to say that BRAC may apply, but until you know the plan, you don't really know if BRAC applies because it may be less than 1,000.
Right.
So,
well, we know that there are more than 1,000 civilians that work at Joint Forces Command. If the Secretary says he wants to get rid of the command,
right.
1,000 plus are affected. That's clear. What we don't know, because the Secretary has not presented any proposal whatsoever as to what they intend to do with those individuals, both on the military side, the civilian side, the contractor side. He hasn't presented a plan, so we don't know specifically what he intends to do to ensure that those functions of Joint Forces Command that are important are continued to be performed. We hope to, in our hearings, shed some more light on their idea.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks.